Evening. It's Pastor Trish, and it is Wednesday, August 19th. I hope some of you are like me, where some days, even though I'm coming into the office every day and working, some days I am like, what day is it? And so it is Wednesday, and it is the 19th today. And we are on Psalm 57. This is again a psalm attributed to King David. Again, an individual psalm of lament or a cry for help. This psalm begins with that cry for help, and then it transitioned to a song of praise as well. A couple of things I just wanted to point out for us to ponder in this psalm tonight. It uses a fair amount of imagery, and the first imagery comes right away in the first verse where the psalmist says, I am going to take refuge in the shadow of your wings. And I invite you to just think about that for a moment. In the past, I have sometimes used, especially like for children's sermon or something, just an image, especially like of a mother hen or chicken covering her chicks with her wings. And just imagine for a moment what it might feel like to be covered with wings and to be protected, and how that might be a refuge. And then I invite you to think about what is a place of refuge for you. If that's the metaphor that we seek a refuge in God, like covered with the wings of a bird, protecting us from predators and dangers and all those kinds of things, where's your refuge? Especially, of course, today, I think for many of us, our home has become our refuge as a safe place to be, where we are safest, we know, from the pandemic. And so perhaps your home is what came to mind first. Is there a particular place in your room that gives you comfort, that you go to for those times of devotion? Or are there other places that you might think of as a refuge? And then the verse or the psalm a little bit later talks about digging a pit. The enemy is actually setting a net or a trap for the psalmist, but instead they fall into it themselves. And that to me is as I first read it, almost humorous liturgy or humorous illustration. Not that it is funny, but I often what first comes to mind for me are some of those old cartoons, maybe some of us used to watch, and I still pull out with my grandson once in a while, where you set a trap and you end up falling into it yourself. And that happens to cartoon characters all the time. Has it happened to your enemies or people you have struggled with? Has it perhaps happened to yourself? And so, again, just an illustration for you to consider. And then after that, it will move into the psalm of praise, the song of praise. And I've got one more thing for you to think about when we do that, but I'll finish that up after we have prayed this psalm together. So please join me in Psalm 57. Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me. For in you my soul takes refuge. In the shadow of your wings I will take refuge until the destroying storms pass by. I cry to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. He will send from heaven and save me. He will put to shame those who trample on me. God will send forth his steadfast love and his faithfulness. I lie down among lions that greedily devour human prey. Their teeth are spears and arrows, their tongues sharp swords. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. They set a net for my steps. My soul was bowed down. They dug a pit for my path, but they have fallen into it themselves. And now we transition into this song of praise. My heart is steadfast, O God, my heart is steadfast. I will sing and make melody. Awake, my soul, awake, O harp and lyre. I will awake the dawn. I will give thanks to you, O Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praises to you among the nations. For your steadfast love is as high as the heavens, your faithfulness extends to the clouds. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens, and let your glory be over all the earth. Again, we hear this hesed, this steadfast love and faithfulness that can't truly be translated from the Hebrew into our English. As the psalmist says, your steadfast love is as high as the heavens, and your faithfulness extends to the cloud. Farther, longer, wider, bigger than we can truly understand or even imagine. The other verse I wanted to just close with and have you think about tonight is verse 7. My heart is steadfast. Oh God, my heart is steadfast. And what does that mean to you? To be steadfast means to be fixed or firm, unmovable. And I must confess, I wonder, is my heart steadfast? Or is my heart as steadfast as it should be, as God desires it to be, as I desire it to be? As I've thought about it a little bit more, and as I think about the privilege it is to be a pastor, I think about those situations where I see steadfastness in someone's heart. And to be honest with you, where I see it most frequently is when people have faced a danger, just like the psalmist is talking about. Often that danger is illness, impending death, a loss, and I will hear steadfastness in folks. I had the privilege of having one of those conversations earlier today with someone facing a terminal diagnosis or having a terminal diagnosis and saying to me, it's been a good life and I have no complaints and I am ready for what is ahead. And just that steadfastness. And I think often that steadfastness is best seen. We we best know whether or not we have a steadfast heart. And I would argue God gives us a steadfast heart, especially in those circumstances where, again, as the psalmist all week long has been talking about, we are in times of danger. And in those times, we pray for that steadfastness, that understanding of ongoing trust in God's hesed, love, and faithfulness for us. So may your heart be steadfast this evening and in the days to come, and may you know as well God's joy and grace and mercy. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow.